The US government have condemned India's transnational repression on US soil. The Canadian government have condemned India's transnational repression on Canadian soil. And in the UK, there is a deafening silence about India's transnational repression of Sikhs on British soil. Why? 8 years ago, then Prime Minister David Cameron was handed a dossier by Narendra Modi detailing people Modi's government had labelled as people of concern. Sikh individuals that Modi cynically labelled as terrorists for daring to campaign for an independent state of Khalistan. Amongst those names was Avtar Singh Kandar. Following Modi's dossier, the UK government funded research into the terror threat posed by Sikhs in the UK, which concluded there was no threat to the British state or to the wider British public from Sikh activism. Yet, the seed was sown and the concept of Sikh extremism began to increasingly appear across the media. 3 years later, police raided the homes of Sikh activists across London and Birmingham, West Midlands police stating they were part of a counter-terrorism operation into allegations of extremist activity in India and fraud offences. Yet again, no one was prosecuted on terrorism charges as a result of the raids. Since then, a network of Hindutva-sponsored social media accounts have been uncovered, spreading misinformation and inflammatory messages designed to manipulate public opinion against Sikhs, Muslims, and any other Indian diaspora minority. As a result, the country has seen an upsurge in inter-ethnic violence and hate crime, often spilling out into the UK streets. And this conspiracy of intimidation pouring from Modi's secret army of agents and activists finally culminated this year in the suspicious death of Kandar in June. A death, in the context of the murder of Nijar in Canada and the thwarted killing of Panoon in the US, now increasingly looks likely to be murder once again by the Indian state. Yet, the family of Kandar and the Sikh community as a whole are met with a wall of silence and obstruction from West Midlands police, who themselves are already under special measures due to performance issues, the coroner, and most concerningly of all, the British government and its Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. Kandar was not yet a British citizen, allowing the state to conveniently divert and deflect accusations away. But as analysts have increasingly stated publicly, India is important to the UK's future strategy in the Indo-Pacific, so there is a very strong interest to overlook human rights issues where the national interest justifies it. And yet, both the US and Canada have had the moral courage to denounce India's actions, despite their own interests in dealing with India commercially. Rishi Sunak, on the other hand, a practicing Hindu, remains deathly silent. Why? You've been watching Satluj TV News. Don't forget to click on that subscribe button to make sure you get to see stories as they're broadcast. And of course, if you have any comments or opinions on any of our news stories, please do comment below, or indeed drop us a direct message at satlujtv.com. We do like to hear from you. In the meantime, thanks for watching. For Satluj TV News, I'm Angus Scott in London.